mighty minty Mini is heavily modified for use as a track day toy. I've driven it and it is one of the most fun things that I've had the pleasure to pedal in a good while. However, it is very track focused and it got me thinking, how much is too much when it comes to modifications for a road car? We'll take it out for a spin and get into that in this video. I'm David, this is Auto Bunker. Thank you very much for watching. I have a list of the modifications here and it's half a sheet of A4, there's so many of them. Fully forged engined with closed deck cylinder reinforcement, CNC ported and polished cylinder head, ARP bolts, Supertech valves, CNC seated with valve guides and stems, titanium valve springs, uprated hybrid turbo, new induction system, new intercooler, sport catalyst, sports exhaust, engine tuned up to 300 brake horsepower, TTV racing flywheel and clutch, Quaife limited slip differential, Bilstein coilovers, JCW brakes. The list goes on and on. It is extensively modified. I'll put the spec in the description and you can decide how much is too much. The map on this engine is pretty fruity, particularly when it comes to pops and bangs from the exhaust. Great fun when you're out on the open road and giving it full beans, but in a line of traffic with that very light clutch and the flywheel combination, you need to give it a decent bit of gas to get it going. And when you're in a queue with multiple starts, it's quite noisy, shall we say, in terms of pops, bangs, revs, farts. You cannot be a shy person to drive this car in a city centre, that is for certain. Let's get this little Mini onto some country roads, some back roads, and find out what it does best. Ripping through the 6-speed gearbox, and we'll give that turbo and that mad engine map a proper workout. Okay, here we go. Second gear, let's put it through its paces. There's a big slug of torque steer as the turbo kicks in around 5,000 RPM. It pulls the wheel. That limited slip diff is definitely earning its keep. It's loads of fun though. Holds your attention and grabs your attention. Lets you wrestle with it as you go along the road. Really fun. I've pressed the sports button, which livens up the exhaust to say the least. I waited until I got out of the local village before I do that. Let's see how that makes this thing sound. Wow! You can definitely feel that flowing more freely. And the pops and bangs on the overrun. Off the chart noisiness. I love it. This thing's got some real personality. I must say, it's nice to be in a track-focused car with a sensible seat and seatbelt combination. The E36 that I built had a racing seat, 6-point harnesses, no inertia belts, and it was nothing other than a massive pain on the road. This is much more comfortable. The owner is a motorcyclist, so although there's no harnesses or half cage or anything like that, to him it probably feels as safe as driving around in Fort Knox compared to high-siding off a motorbike. Still very much standard Mini in here, very pleasant, very easy to work with, apart from a super cool modified flat bottom steering wheel with the obligatory stitch showing you which way the wheel's pointing when you're crazily flapping your arms about in a big slide on the track. Love it. If it were me, I think I would put a half cage in the back. I'd maybe look at a slightly sportier seat, only very slightly though. But I would definitely wouldn't strip the interior, keep the aircon, keep the radio, keep all the things that this car has that make it so nice to drive to a track day.
I would love to know your thoughts on the perfect balance between practicality, performance, madness and usability. Let me know in the comments, and if you have a track focused car, I'd love to see some pictures of it. Let me know the specs and let's try and work out what that optimal balance of driving and tracking really is.
One of the things I am rapidly learning driving this car is that planning ahead is very important. If you can carry any sort of momentum through a junction or stay rolling in a queue of traffic, then momentum is your friend, because that's one less time you have to try and navigate the whole clutch experience. Definitely promotes the advanced driver in you, this machine. Now, this is the ultimate challenge. A hill start in a car with a very light flight wheel. Let's see how we get on with this. I haven't installed it yet, but it is definitely in the post. Plenty of revs, gentle with the clutch. Oh, just got it going. I would not like to be in traffic on a hill in this machine, that is for certain. The suspension is a revelation as well, actually. It's very firm, but there's no crashing. It still has a real quality Mini feel to it in terms of the noise, vibration, harshness. There's no judder through the wheel. There's minimal crashing. And yes, there's a lot of firmness, and turn-in is very good. And, you know, it's stiff vertically, certainly. You can feel the bumps, but in the cabin, it still feels comfortable and quiet. Great, very impressed. The Toyo tyres are just great. Loads and loads of grip from the 888Rs. I've used those in the past, they're really good, but I haven't driven them for a while, and it's just a great reminder about what a good tyre they are. From experience, they do like to wear themselves out if you're going pretty quick on the track, but on a hot, warm spring day like today, they are really great. Absolutely tons and tons of grip. The owner did warn me I might find some foibles and frustrations on this car. It's absolutely livable, really. The thing that's driving me most mad is there's a little antenna on the windscreen which is wobbling up and down in the top of my peripheral vision. That's the biggest frustration with this car. The mechanical madness, I can live with all of that. This mad little machine is sitting behind me, ticking and cooling down after a good blast along some British B roads. It really is brilliantly modified to suit this type of road, actually. It's direct, it's pointy, and it really does absolutely hold your attention as you wrestle and grapple with the steering wheel when you put your foot down. It's super fun to drive, and in this environment, absolutely brilliant fun.
Having spent some more time driving this mad little minty machine, I think it is just about there in that balance that's so hard to strike, from modifications, track performance, everyday usability, and actually having to drive this thing in the real world. The only thing I would really change is perhaps how the clutch and exhaust and throttle interact in a line of traffic. There is always a compromise though, and if that's the worst of it, then I think the balance on this Mini is just about there as the perfect little fun track focused car. Thank you very much to the owner of this car for lending it to me for the afternoon. If you have a cool, modified or classic car that you'd like featured on the channel, drop me a note in the message, and I would love it if you check out the new Autobunker website, www.autobunker.com. There's all sorts of content on there, links to videos and some columns that I've written recently, and there's even a little bit of merch on there if you're interested. Check it out, hopefully you'll enjoy it. I'm David, this is Autobunker. I would love it if you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this coming along very soon.